Okay, so what I have here probably isn't as retro as some people would think, and certainly not for the kind of purists out there, but this is an Xbox 360. The Xbox 360 was released in 2005, so 20 years ago. If we're considering retro being anything older than 20 years, then this just sneaks in, although technically this is an Xbox 360S, which was released, I think this one is released with the date on the back, the serial says 2011, so only 14 years ago. Probably not retro to some people, but the reason why I'm doing a video on this is because I went to the recycling centre recently to drop off some scrap from my house, and as I was driving in, I spotted this Xbox 360 and this Xbox One, well, the original Xbox, the OG Xbox. I spotted them at the side, been left for the recycling centre to just do e-waste with. Now, obviously, that goes against a lot of people's initial thoughts along the lines of, if it can be repaired, repair it. If it can be reused, reuse it. Don't just chuck it away. Especially given that this is a kind of retro repair channel. Again, it might not be considered retro to some people, but I feel like this type of thing shouldn't just be chucked in the bin, shouldn't just be chucked to a recycling centre to go to waste. Instead, we should try and fix it, or even at least see what's wrong with it. I've not booted this up yet, so without any more yapping, let's have a look at it, and then we'll go ahead and take it apart. In fact, we'll power it on, see if it does power on, then I'll take it apart, give it a good clean, and if there's nothing wrong with it, this video might just not air. I don't know, because it's not repairing anything. Okay, so we got it all hooked up. There's the HDMI that goes out to my capture card on the computer. There's our little adapter with the Xbox 360 original power brick connector. And I've got this hooked up to my capture card to start recording the second it turns on. So I've not done anything to this, I've not touched it. We boot. Looks like we get perfect signal out from the 360. It's booting up into the capture window. Okay, so we have, I need to connect a controller to this, but we could open the tray. Nothing in the tray. And I'll need a controller, so let me find a 360 controller. Okay, so I've got a controller, plug it in. There we go, powered on, connected, and this guy, not played a lot, 3,360 gamer score. See what friends they have, I might send them a friend request. Okay, won't let me because it's not connected to the internet. Games, let's see what games they've got, because there is a hard drive in here, but Hexic HD, Sonic Adventure, Tales of Vesperia. This hard drive really doesn't have a lot in it. Let's go to the system settings, storage. So we have a 100 gigabyte hard drive installed that has, okay, a couple of games, got Facebook, Internet Explorer, Lego Marvel, Lost Odyssey, Phantasy Star Universe, Sky App, Sonic Adventures, Tales of Vesperia, and that is it. System items, just generic stuff. Okay. Internal memory unit, probably nothing on it. Yeah. Game saves. Okay. So, yeah, there's nothing on this. It works. I can't see any issues with this, so yeah. Not much else I can do. Okay, so we've established that the console works, it's got no issues, which is kind of disappointing because I wanted a repair project, not only for the video, but also this would be my first 360 that would have a problem to fix. So, never mind. Instead though, you can see, if I bring this kind of zoomed in a bit closer to the camera, we do need to take it apart to get it cleaned. There's lots of dust, it's probably not that easy to see. We can see a lot of dust there. There's quite a bit of dust kind of kicking about in the top grill and the bottom grill and so on. And I think it's just worth taking it apart, giving it a good clean. Yes, the warranty sticker would then be destroyed, but it obviously still doesn't have a warranty anymore. And it'd be good to take it apart. I've never taken apart a 360S. I've taken apart the OG 360s. Back when my very first one had a red ring of death, I took it apart, tried to install a new CPU cooler and some fans and mod it, and it lasted, I think, like 2 days and then went straight back to red ring. So clearly I didn't do a very good job, but that was way back in the day. Anyway, without any more yapping on, I'm going to tear this down. I've never done this one before, so I'm kind of just going to put it to like sped up and a bit of music rather than talking through individually. There's lots of videos on that. Maybe another time I'll do a step-by-step. Maybe when I get one that actually doesn't work and we need to take it apart, but I just want to take it apart to give it a good clean, put it back together, and then that's it. So enjoy. Okay, so I finally got it all taken apart. It was quite difficult in some areas and others pretty straightforward, but it should go back together quite easily. Looking at the condition of the board, and as I said, there was no problems with the console itself. It would boot up, no problem. Read the game. Oh, I didn't read the game actually. I need to probably test it with a game, but there's a little bit of dust here on the CPU sink there, the heat sink for the CPU, and the GPU probably. But realistically, this is fine. I'll probably remove this CPU, the heat sink, and put some thermal paste, some fresh thermal paste back on, just so we know that the thermal paste is good, it's not dried up, and this should last for quite some time, either in my hands or somebody else's hands. I don't know, I kind of quite like the Xbox the Xbox 360 Slim. The naming conventions for Xbox have been terrible after the original Xbox, but there we go. So all I'm going to do next really is remove that X clamp on the back of this, take it off, clean up the, get rid of the dust on here on the heatsink, and then clean up the old thermal paste, apply some new thermal paste, and put it back together. So I was looking online to buy an X clamp removal tool, but They just seem to be a piece of flimsy metal, and I get the feeling from some of the videos it kind of like levers on the board to pop up the clamp, and some people have shown pictures of how that's then scraped and damaged the board. And then I found that you can just take a regular flathead screwdriver or some kind of any bit that fits in the gap here. So if we bring this up a little bit close, this is the most I can zoom in, but if you take a flathead screwdriver or something and you poke and it manages to fit in that gap there, and as long as you're not touching the board, so if I can just rotate that around, as long as you're not touching the board through the hole, you can just apply some pressure and it will pop off the opposite side clamp. And once you've got one side off and then you do another side, the whole thing will easily release. So in this scenario then we'll take this one here, I'll kind of wedge it through. I know this won't go any further and touch the board. I've already kind of had a little look and a test. Yeah, so the thickness of this bit that I've got on here won't allow me to touch the board. So all I've got to do is just hold it steady, put it in the gap, and just lever it forward and it pops off. And then you could either do this side to pop this one off, or I could do this side to pop that one off. It doesn't really matter which one you do, as long as you do one. And then we've got two sides removed. And now this should come off quite easily. Although a lot easier than some of the videos made out, or not as easy as the videos made out, I should say. So I did watch a video on how to remove them, and once he'd removed two, the other two just fell off. But let's see if I can, there we go. So now that's the X clamp removed, which means I can flip it over and then take out the heatsink. That's quite dry, as to be expected with the age of the console. It seemed like a good spread. It seemed like it was making solid contact, obviously, until I removed it. But I think some fresh paste on there will be good for the longevity of this board. So I'll go get some IPA, some cotton buds, and a bit of tissue to clean it up, and we should be able to get that nice and clean. And we'll apply some fresh paste. And then all that's left to do is clean off the rest of it from the actual heat sink itself. So I think that's the way that this board needs to sit. Yeah, that's cleared all the, so down there you can see the bunch of capacitors. There's clearance for that. I think that's the correct way. Yeah, surely. We'll soon find out if it isn't. So now for putting the X clamp back on, I don't think it really matters which orientation it goes in, so I'm just going to make sure that it at least lines up. And then go ahead and just clip on one side and then force on the opposite. Like that. And then let's get this third one on, because it seemed to have kind of done the other three anyway on their own. See, this is where I could do with something being able to push down onto the underside. Because if I put it down, that might just be okay. There we go. I think all Seems to be in place. And then we've just got to put it back together. So let's go ahead and turn it on. It should be okay because I haven't done any mods to it, but obviously taking the CPU, fan and heatsink off and reapplying some thermal paste may have affected it a little bit, so it could throw up a red ring of death if it's not happy with the temperatures at. But let's go ahead, turn it on. Okay, boots up, so far so good. We're getting the intro. And we boot straight into the dashboard there, no problem at all. Now they might look a little different. I took out the main hard drive, so there's probably a few of the profile and themes missing, or the files missing for that, but it wasn't seated in a proper case, so I wasn't too happy with it kind of like being in there and dangling about and moving about and putting stress on the connector, so I just left it out. Okay, so I think we should probably try a game. I'm going to try just Halo 3 here. Hopefully it doesn't need an update or it won't pop up, but we'll try it anyway. Okay, so it's reading the disc perfectly fine. It is quite loud. I don't know if the 360 Slim was ever this loud or should be quieter or what, but obviously this is my first impression of the 360 Slim, or S, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm hoping this is just standard, but it seems to have booted into the game fine. Obviously, I would need to do quite a significant stress test on this to make sure that the CPU has properly been, or that the heatsink is properly seated, but honestly I think if we're at this stage it should be okay. So yeah, the next part we'll look to mod this.